Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam. Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Friday, January 21st, 2021. It's Friday. We made it through another week. We are here for Freestyle Fridays in the Java Cafe. I have my good friend and brother in the background there. We're going to bring him in a minute. But do me a favor, because I really, those of you that have seen Darrin on before know that he is very astute in Boston politics and is a community servant. If some of you follow me on Twitter or Instagram, you've seen that I've used the hashtag in reference to DPOth, and we're going to talk about how that hashtag or title came to be. We're going to take him through the entire week of the Java Cafe themes. We're going to talk about Mental Health Monday. We're going to hear his testimony for Testimony Tuesday. He's going to tell us what it is he thinks we need to know. We're going to talk about some thankfulness, and then we're just going to set him free for Freestyle Fridays. And so I want to shout out Asia Heath, who earlier, I believe it was this week, asked if I could, and there she is. She said, I'm in a Zoom trying to multitask in the Java Cafe. Asia, shout out to you. Just saying good morning real quick before we bring Darrin in. Good morning, nephew Dre. Darryl out of Tennessee. Good morning, sir. Good to see you. Sharon Cornelius. Good to see you in the room. Mama Java is in the room, and also Naraki. I saw your message after the fact that you were in Boston yesterday, so we will definitely connect. All right, let's not delay it anymore, because I had to make the brother wait through the 20-minute intro, and I'm sure he's gonna have something to say about that. But good morning, Darrin. Good to see you in the room, brother.
Good morning, Mr. James Jimmy Hills. What's going on with your 10-minute intros? That's going on. You say, I have to start something. It's Friday. Blessed to be here. Glad to see the growth that has occurred with the Java Cafe, and just seeing everything that has done. So blessings and blessings on top of blessings.
And listen, you remind me of Dr. Brandy. She was talking about packed on stacks, but we'll get into that too. And so, you're not a stranger. And so, greet the people, catch us up a little bit with how you're doing. We're going to go deep into how you're doing, but just generally let folks know how you're doing. There's been a lot going on in the community, politics, and we're going to get into all of that. But say hello again to the folks, and then we're going to take you through the whole week.
So good morning to the Java family. Good morning to all. I'm no stranger to the cafe space. Been here since day one, when I had the vision to move in this direction. And thank you for continuing to do what you do. Thank you all for tuning in, making sure that this platform is community centered. So for me, it's a pleasure to be here. It's a new year. I've been kind of low key really since the toy drive and, the holiday season, really just taking it all in. Celebrated my 40th this week. So
hold on. Darrin, you're 40?
I am 40. I know I don't look it.
Right, there's one time when you look 40, and I tease you about it. I hate this brother because he got a full beard, and that's the only time you can tell he's 40. If he shaves, Darrin look 18.
Right. And I enjoy that disguise. I've always viewed it as just that. You can't look like a threat coming, is what I learned being in the public service space, is that you got to, be able to get into certain spaces for people to be able to feel comfortable, right? So I enjoy this youngish look that I am blessed to have. I contributed to sleep Definitely at a young age, got a lot of sleep. And then, finally got off porch and the rest is history. So, but yeah, thank you, James, for bringing me on today.
And we again want to shout out Asia, and Mama Java is in the room saying good morning.
Good morning. Asia, this is for you. You requested it. I'm here. If I can be here, that's what I try to have a mantra. If I can do, I will do. And if I can't,
well, before we jump into the week, I wanted to give, because I know you. I've had the pleasure of knowing you when you were younger, know your family, the honor of knowing your sister, Kathy. And so there are things that I know about you that I don't think that we can, to any extent in this path of you turning 40, that we can take for granted. And I think the community really needs to see or understand real deep and more essence of who you are. And so Deepoff, sometimes you have that on your different hats. And I asked you one day, I said, Darrin, like, what is Deepoff? I couldn't, I'm like, Deepoff, da da da. And what does that stand for, sir?
D, president of the hood. Yeah.
But how did you get that title? So it's something not you necessarily picked up. How was that ascribed to you?
So a while ago, I was working on a campaign, Senator Ed Markey's campaign, and I was his Community of Colors field director for statewide.
Remember that?
And there was an event that took place. So some of you all may recall, the President of the United States, we're going to give him his acknowledgement still to this day, even though he's out of office. President Barack Obama was doing something for the campaign trail. And there was a decision that was being made whether or not should the president do a fundraiser event or should he do something for the public, something for the community. But the logistics and optics behind the scene is around turnout, right? You can't have an empty room for the president of the United States. And it was timing, right? Like, so I was asked in the capacity I was in, whether or not it was able to be accomplished. We had about a 3-day window of time to turn it around, and the expected turnout needed to be around 10,000. It's the president of the United States. It's a free event in the community. So I, of course, accepted the challenge, said that I believe it can happen. I was able to connect to all of the various community activist leaders to be able to make them aware of what was going on. We had a very robust operation where we were able to get out tickets, tickets in advance to make sure that we had the head count for how many people were going to be potentially attending. So we were able to accomplish that. I was then asked about, just the event itself, what would be part of the things taking place. So they wanted to have Girl Scouts. They wanted something to do the Pledge of Allegiance. So I said, I don't have any Girl Scouts, but I have 2 beautiful twin daughters. And they definitely know the Pledge of Allegiance. So, can they do it? So they were allowed to do the Pledge of Allegiance for that event. Got their kiss on the forehead from the president. But while they were at school, my kids, when they were telling their peers about the event, they said, my dad's bringing the president to the hood. So from that, I said, president of the hood. There's POTUS, president of the United States. I said, why not POF? So I self-appointed my name, the president of the hood.
You did self-appoint?
Well, I just took it on after they said it.
Right? All this time, I thought it was like from that they started calling. Oh, okay. I'm up here talking about that they ascribed it to him.
Well, they did, because the kids said, you're bringing the president to the hood. Yep. I just made it, the title. And I was like, well, that's something I always will be able to have under my feather, right, on my hat. So that's how the name became the B. And it felt good to just be able to say, you know what, I can move in and out my community comfortably. We can make sure that when there's an opportunity for our community to have something that, an experience, then, my voice was valued in that situation. So president of
we got the Deepoff. Listen, right. You all heard it here. I really, you're going to get to know this brother really well today. One thing, other thing I want to do before we go into Mental Health Monday is, for those that didn't know before, you did come on around the time of the toy drive. You referenced to it that you been kind of lying low. And so real quickly, for those that didn't know, and It's Freestyle Friday. From what folks speculated to whatever. Can you just give a synopsis of what the reasoning was to cancel the event? The work happened, but can you just talk a little bit about the cancel the event? So if anybody didn't see before, they hear directly from you the reasoning behind, and then we're gonna jump into the week.
So the reason for canceling the event, and trust me, it wasn't an easy decision, but I felt it was a necessary decision. The event has evolved from what its original conception was to be. For those that know, it was to provide families of those that's incarcerated with some gifts during the holiday season, those families. And over the years, because of the level of contributions and donations that people have provided to the effort, it has grown, right? And it grown into being an event. So it started from really going to door, passing those gifts off to families that really might have not have received during the holiday season, right? Because of whatever challenges they were experiencing, especially those, again, that were incarcerated. And then because of the support that Toys for Tots has offered to the actual event, it grew to be I can't run around to all these households. So let me create a space for people to come to, right? But because I wanted to really make sure that the children had a good time during the holiday season, not necessarily focused on the parents in the beginning, but the children, because of the initial children's reaction to receiving the gifts that first year. And in doing so, after 10 years, it was like, wow, look, we have 3 different locations. There's multiple age groups being served. There's multiple resources and organizations involved. But the reason this exists is because of the relationships to the Toys for Tots operation. And they have been experiencing some challenges over the last few years in regards to the volunteer operation that was in place. So being someone that has made sure I put my sweat equity in to provide that, to show that level of appreciation and for what they've allowed me and others to do. I took on that over the last 3 years, making sure that the operation of Toys for Tots was here in place. And so the evolution of it all has became, do you do an event or do you make sure the people, the organization that provides the gifts, are they here to make sure that others are able to do the event? And because of some of the challenges of relocating, the transition again with the people that were in place, it was more or less appropriate. I think it was the responsible thing to do, given the amount of attention that last year's received. There was about 10,000 children registered for the event. Definitely knew that there has been some challenges given COVID and everything that this has done to the economy. But the reality is the operation of Toys for Tots, there was more than Drive Boston that was requesting gifts to be able to provide. And if their operation is not done first in terms of making sure that others have, then it wouldn't have been appropriate for Drive Boston to take on providing for the people that registered. So the decision was made, and at no fault to anyone. I want to put that out there. It's at no fault because the name is credible and recognizable because of the years of work, right? And so what we chose to do was to cancel the event to make sure that the other organizations that requested toys from Toys for Tots were able to receive. And we did the best that we could under the circumstances. So now there's a lot more foundation laid to be able to really look at this in a more organized and appropriate way. When you're under the gun and it's, a couple of days, that's the challenges people don't necessarily see is the
behind the scenes,
right? Yep. Like I'm not only dealing with Toys for Tots, which is volunteer. So just in case anyone is not aware, I am not paid to do that operation. For me, it's been able to take away, to distract from some of the trauma that has been experienced during the month of December. So providing me with something healthy, positive, productive, but at the same time conscious of, personal capacity. I got a job. I'm supporting K's Oasis. I just made a major move. I don't know if I don't announce that yet. I'm debating. I know James is itching to make that announcement.
Look. You got some time to think about it as we go through the week. Look, there's a couple of spaces that you can fit that in if you first time, and then by the second time you're like, okay, Darrin, I wanted to just acknowledge something, and it's something that we're going to do toward the end that we do every time that you're here. And you know this name well. I keep saying if anything ever happened to me, folks would be like, where's Sharon Cornelius? But Sharon is acknowledging that today is the anniversary of the passing of her husband. And toward the end, as we do on Freestyle Fridays, we're going to acknowledge that. But I think that's a good segue into taking you through the week. And to Sharon's acknowledgement of what she's dealing with. You're turning 40, dealing with, because I know how you are. So dealing with the impact of not being able to have the big impact that's perceived from an event. Let's start with Monday and ask you how you're doing from a mental health space. And I guess it would be in the context, we can go ahead with the context of right now. If you were to use one word to describe your mental health in the vastness of everything right now, what would be that one word that you would use, Darrin?
Peace.
Yes.
At peace. Mentally, I'm at peace. I think that I've understood the calms before the storm. I understood the storms, but right now, at this moment, I'm at peace. I want for nothing. I can clearly do well with more. But I'm at peace. I have what I need, and I feel like that's something that is a big accomplishment to be at peace.
Well, can you describe, and you did it a little bit, but a lot of people, think peace is everything being perfect. And I'm not going to put words in your mouth and say that you're saying everything is perfect, but go a little bit deeper. Like what are different aspects of peace when you said you want for nothing? You're mentally at peace. Go a little bit deeper, because some people take peace as a public perception versus letting it be. Like, you got to this point on an individual journey. And so speak to the folks that are fighting with, I'm not at peace based on external perception.
I think that when I think about the phrase that we often use, it is what it is, right? Like where it's like, you just finally start. So at turning 40, it was MLK's holiday, right? On Monday. So glad we're starting with that. But it forces reflection. Right. It's like, wow, I reached another milestone.
Mm-hmm.
How did I get here? What do I have some big old mansion? Do I have, all these? Is that what peace is described as? Like when I know what peace was, being able to feel comfortable knowing I can wake up and not have to look over my back. Peace is being able to sit back and say, the efforts that I'm trying to do to just be a good person is I can look in the mirror in the morning and say I'm doing that. Do I fall short? Yes, I'm human. But I'm at peace with being human, to saying that, I only can do so much, but I recognize that I have done a lot.
Yep.
And I can't take that away, that work, that experience, those moments, right? Whether some are, inspirational, there's other tragics, right? Traumatizing moments, right? So to be able to balance that during this reflective time, that's where I feel peace is at, is to be able to say, I can wake up, I can look in the mirror, I'm healthy, I'm able to still, contribute, and knowing the journey to getting here.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't been easy, right? There's been some moments that's been life altering. But to still stay the course, to still, show that resilience, and to feel like as much as I want to share, I'm hesitant to share because, like you said, I'm laid back. I'm just trying to stay out the way, stay in my lane, do what I can, but at times it's like, I recognize now the person that I have become is the person I was looking to be when I was looking at others during that moment in time. When I was trying to figure out, does life have meaning? Is there a reason for my being here? Show me that there's some type of purpose. And to really figure out, like, wow, my aunt, love her to death, Donna Scott, got to give her a shout out. She pointed me in the direction of Chuck Turner. And look what life has created. I'm at 16 years in this field of public service. And I look at it as it is a job, right? It's a job to help others, right? And how you go about that does matter. And showing humbleness, empathy, understanding, like, and never feeling like I'm better than anyone, right? Like, because if someone calls and I'm able to do, I do, right? If I can't, I don't, right? But I'm able now to really reflect on being selective, being able to say, hey, I spread myself way too thin for others. How do I start focusing on self, right? Not just self-care, but focus on self. I want to worry about my legacy, my wealth, things that I would like to create and leave for my family. And how am I going to get there? So this is what I'm focused on moving forward this year. It's like, all right, at 40, I done gave 20 years to the streets. I done gave another 17 of public service. Can I give something to me? Can I focus on what this is about, and not feel guilty about it, to say, hey, don't try to make me feel guilty for not being there, when I know plenty of times I can count on my hand that folks ain't been there for me, but I don't hold that against them. I'm not going to feel guilty moving forward with saying, got to take care of me. I'm trying to do something for me and mine. And this is an opportunity that I want to take advantage of.
So I'm sitting back smiling on a couple of levels. One is in general. I heard it, but until you go through it, and there's this thing, and for those of you that are out there, type whether you agree, say amen. But something happens at 40, and y'all know I'm a backslidden preacher. 40 is the number of change. 40 days in the wilderness. It rained 40 days and 40 nights, and the earth changed. So 40 is a number of change, and something, a mentality. I heard you say, Darrin, a few moments ago, it wasn't that you didn't care, but it was kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, but something, usually depending on your maturity level, it can start at like 38 and a half. If you're kind of slow in maturing, it could last up until about 33. Somewhere in that period, you just start to shift. You start to come up. You become to start comfortable in who you are. And so I heard you've always kind of been comfortable in who you are, but there's a different cadence in you. And I remember we were talking a couple of weeks ago, or even last week, and I was like, Darrin, you just turned 40, huh? Uh-huh. And so something definitely happens there. The one thing that did stand out, and I want to talk about a little bit, is, and I'll be 100. I struggle with the same thing of like a huge part of our success is tied to community. And so there are times you want to update the community and say, yo, I've been blessed and this is what it is. And I deal with the same thing of a little hesitant. You spoke to two things about being hesitant, and I want you to speak to both of those a little bit further. Is hesitant to share the blessings, and then not hesitant, but you've gotten to a point where you protect your space. You've sort of paid your dues in the fact of servitude. And when you're and I refer to you as being selfless often. So if you could start with go a little bit deeper around that hesitation to like be vocal about success, like the fact that we have to second guess sometimes if we want to do a post or even individually share with certain people, because the word is so cliche. It's not haterism, but the opposite of inspire. Rather than being inspired, it's something different.
Right. And the hesitation comes from finding that out from someone you didn't expect it from. Like,
yeah, let's go.
And what I mean by that is that I recognize that tangible examples matter to me in this journey, right? When I was going through my initial phases of transitioning, and everyone kept saying, you know what, you're going to get through these challenges. You're going to get over these obstacles. Don't worry, just keep moving forward. But not recognizing how that was impacting, me as a person that's saying, I'm living through this. Like I don't see light at the end of the road. You don't really understand because you can't relate. You don't have these challenges that you're going through. You don't have to look at the fact that someone's judging you off of a piece of paper that has very, wordy language on it, right? Like, so when they have that, they're making their, that's their first impression. They're not giving you a chance to, have that interview and to, share why you're the best candidate or someone qualified for the job. So when you're going through that, for me, and I don't can speak for self, I was like, I hear what you're saying, but what's making you, how will I stop going to get this package? what is the reality for that? This is what's paying the bills. This is what's providing for me right now. And every time I'm applying for a job, every time I'm doing this, it ain't working, right? So when I went to Strive had men and women that modeled what I thought I couldn't achieve. They went through those challenges or parallel situations, or even worse, right? From homelessness, addiction, years of incarceration. But they wasn't ashamed. They wasn't feeling guilty. They was like, you know what? I got my mind right. I started to focus. And because of that, I was motivated by saying, if they can do it, I can do it. Right. So now I'm in a position that I'm like, anybody can do it. Shoot, I've openly been blatant about my record, my experience, my history, right? From saying, yes, I was at the chow hall. I sat in the line. I was there. I did carry guns illegally. I did sell drugs. I have been in these situations, right? Like, there's no reason to run from it, because that's what I had to learn by watching those examples. I said, I can't take it back, right? Like, I have had relationship challenges. So being able to own it, to say, but do you write me off now? Do you throw me away? If I'm able to still contribute, let me do it. And that's the opportunity Chuck provided for me. He let me work, right? He provided me a space where he was like, I see the drive in you. I see that if you was provided a chance, you will do something different. And look where it is 17 years later, right? So me wanting to share my levels of success, especially right now. And I'm kind of eager to do it, like, because it's like, I want people to be motivated, right? I want people to be inspired, to be like, if D can do it, why can't I? If D can own a house, why can't I?
Say it again. Say it again. Say it again.
If D can own a house, why can't I? If D can have a big body Benz, why can't I? Like, if those are the materials.
Say it again. Have a what?
Like I said, if D can own a house.
The second part, we heard the house.
D can own a big body Benz. If D can own these things legally, like to say, I'm not running around trapping. I'm not running around like, everything is about paperwork. And if you're in the streets, you don't want nothing on paper, right? Like on all levels. So to sit back and say, my paperwork had to get right. My credit had to get right. These things had to get right to put me in a position to attain these things on the journey to legacy and wealth.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. We just merged into Testimony Tuesdays. Go ahead, Darrin.
So we traveling down the week real quick, right? Like, so why should I be hesitant? But then I'm like, well, I want to find out that this person has this type of real feelings that they've been hiding all this time. That this person has this type of perception, because this is how I'm choosing to do things. I'm not bothering anybody. I'm focused on self, right? Like, in terms of helping others, because in helping others, that is the job, right? Like, whether it's on a macro level, one-on-one, trying to get somebody to the other side of the aisle, or if it's on a larger level, helping to move policies, identifying elected officials, like to make sure that they can move the needles. Whatever it is, I know I'm being helpful. So that's the reflective moment of now, where I'm like, all right, hold on. I got to focus on me. How do I get this journey out there? How do I get this narration out there? So if anybody's in the Java land, and they want to help me put this story and this timeline together, where is that Boston story? We see so much focused on South Boston, Charlestown. If they talk about Boston Black, it's usually through some type of oppression or segregation. Like, we don't get that story of motivation, right? We got all this attention behind entertainment. Well, won't you entertain this story, right? Like, we can talk about going from the Chow Hall to City Hall. We can talk about Occupy. We can talk about the many elected officials and saying, I'm still on K's. I'm still on the Ave, right? Like, we can talk about it, right? So
I'm still on the Ave. My God.
So that jumps right into your Wednesday. We need to know. If you want to know, let's talk about it. Like we could talk about the journey of 16 years, but we could talk about the journey of 42, right? Like, I don't have any problem saying I didn't forget where I come from, and I never will. But I have to now start looking at, I don't want to be that 80-year-old activist that's feeling like, man, was it all worth it? No, I don't want to be that. I want to be the person that's saying, I do what I can when I can, and if I'm able to. And at the same time, I want to go home, I ain't gonna say all the amenities.
Before we go on, can we talk about the guilt about that? Because you did, that was the second part I wanted to reference to. So one, applaud you, and we pray and cover. There's one other thing, and I know how you operate. You're very strategic, and I'll just go to the point when you said you don't want to experience dealing with someone that you thought would support you having that feeling sort of way. If there's more to come from a strategy standpoint, isn't it good that, as a TI said, bring them out now? So that way, when you do get the mansion you referred to, because I know you're going to be there for a while, and about two, I can't tell y'all how many times Darrin will talk to me in January and he'll be like, yo, this year, da 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 da. And by August, he's like, yeah, I'm about to go, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and so anyway, so I just thought about that when you said that. And I had that thought about T.I.'s song, Bring 'Em Out, because from a strategic standpoint, from your Blue Hill Ave orientation, it's kind of good to know who those folks are early. Would you agree?
Oh, definitely. And trust me, over the years, people have, shown themselves. Like no one's naive to it, right? Like, and you know me, I'm laid back, right? Yep. I give people definitely enough rope where they just show themselves, where I'm like, all right, well, if you want to forfeit the relationship, that's not because I wanted to, right? Like that's never how I try to move about when it comes to this thing of public service. It's like, if you're doing something for the public, you should be willing to entertain anything, right? Like, because you're in the public. But how far you go with entertaining, for me, it has been dependent on the other individual, where I'm like, hey, I'm here. But if, I live by the mantra, undercommit, overperform, right? Like, so you ain't got to come give me a song and dance in order to rock with me. Like, I'm not that person, but I do understand business, right? Like, so we're gonna say, hey, if you're gonna say this, follow through on what you say, right? Don't expect, if I follow through on what I'm saying, I'm gonna do to the best of my ability. And if I can't communicate that, but that's the problem, right? People set their standards so high, they don't know how to walk it back, right? And it's like, all right, I'll just disappear. So people, sometimes they just separate on their own, right? Like, where it's like, I'm not going to come around. I'm not going to be around, not because of anything I've done, but because of how they set themselves up to be, right? And so that's why I said, I can still be on the app. I could still be in the same shared spaces of these dignitaries and elected officials and feel like, I'm comfortable. I don't actually rock with y'all like that. I'm kind of want to rock with this crowd over here, because this population is the population that I know, if they was aware and conscious of what was available to them, they may move a little bit differently. So if I could be motivating for that, to be like, yo, how is he doing? How you can do it too, right? That's all I keep telling everybody. Most of the stuff I do, you can do it too, right?
Darrin, this is why I left this comment up, excuse me, comment up here, because I know there's a population that may see this, that follow you, and shout out to Props. Darrin, this is the brother that be making all this stuff look possible. Can you talk a little bit to any brother that may be listening that is struggling with their past? I actually, no lie, there's a brother that I'm connecting with, Danny Mulhern, right now, that really wants to do stuff in the community, and he's tried, but because of his paper, he's getting rejected. And it's to the point now, he hit me up and he was like, yo, can you do me a favor? Can you connect me with someone that can just see, is it that bad? Am I not? I want to give back to the community, but every time I try. So can you speak a little bit to brothers that may be feeling, for various reasons, ashamed about their past, struggling to get out of it? Can you talk to that a little bit?
So one of the things that definitely was part of the initial stages, right? Like the initial phase is just that acceptance of past. It's not going to be easy, right? Like there's some history that, you just can't cross paths with individuals, and you got to let time heal, hopefully, those wounds, right? Like it's just being able to move and navigate a lot differently and intentionally, right? Like when it comes to acceptance, right? It's saying that I didn't ask for permission to do negative. So there's only going to be so much I'm going to ask for permission to do positive, right? I'm going to have to try to figure out another way to approach the thing that I'm looking to do, right? Like, and create the audience that's willing to receive it, right? So that might be, how folks go about their journey of service, right? To be like, I see the good brothers over there at Yard Time. Shout out to Joseph Bennett. I'm not even going to use hood name. I'm going to use his name because that's who he's portraying to be. I'm Joseph Bennett. I'm trying to give back. I have my life experiences. He have the mental health awareness group that he's doing over there. It's like if folks don't support you, doesn't mean that you shouldn't still pursue it, right? And you're a living testimony with Java with Jimmy, right? Like there's different avenues that you went down to try to be supportive and be supportive.
Move on. Don't do that. Go to the next
yours, right? Like, and then you found the space that works for you, right? And for me, over the years, I've always said, don't knock what you want to do, right? Like I can have 1,000 things I can see value in you doing for me, but if you don't want to do it, that's not what you want to do, right? Like, and I can't hold you responsible for my vision and my dreams, right? Like, so it's like being able to say, how do I choose another avenue to pursue it? Right. So when I said I wanted to give back and I found an avenue to give back that made me feel good, right? It was the toys. It was me seeing Counselor Yancey with the book fair for over 30 years. And I'm like, I want something like that. And it took me to get to 13 years to say, no, we can't do this year. This it wouldn't be right. It wasn't that it couldn't have been done. It just wouldn't have been right.
That's maturity though, but go ahead. Sorry.
So to sit back and try to figure out your way to give back, if you want to give back, that has to be, there's not going to be a lot of support. How many times have we done things where it's like what you expect for support becomes like, whoa, hold on. Like I don't know these people. I like people don't know me. I don't have this type of relationship. That love doesn't exist. And it's like, no, sometimes it's just not a priority for them. Your vision, your dreams, right? Yeah, what you're trying to pursue. And sometimes that just has to be understood, where it's like, just because you don't support me at this stage doesn't mean it's going to stop me from moving forward. I just got to move forward without you. And that's some of the things that I've been learning, where it's like, I see some of the comments like, yeah, people are weeding themselves out along this journey, right? Like where it's like, you don't even feel comfortable going.
Wait. You went to the scripture because even the Bible says, let the wheat and the tare grow together and God will do the same. Let them come up together. And then when it's time, they'll separate. You in here preaching today.
So it's being able to do that, right? Like, so I tell everybody got a pass. Right? It's saying like when you start accepting it, no one else can hold it against you. Like you can't hold my past against me. I've already accepted it. Like I've been held accountable by not only society standards, but by my own standards, right? Like I hold myself to a certain standard now where I'm like, I do know better. And it forces me to think before I react, right? It forces me to think before I speak. It forces me to do that because I'm like, all right, how is this going to be perceived? How is this going to be portrayed? I can make the announcement on Java with Jimmy because I know the audience that's watching, right? And I know they might not tune in right now. They might tune in later, but I know it circulates. I'm aware of my public relations, right? Like I'm not naive to it, but I'm sitting back saying, I'm just going to continue doing me, right? And in doing me, involves helping others.
Yeah.
So that's the joy that comes where it's like, I don't need if you support, you support. That's always been my motto, to be like, hey, whether you support or not doesn't change whether or not I'm going to move forward and try to accomplish what I have on my mind and in my brain, right? And then those that want to support, clearly they show up. And if they don't, they'll give you the excuses, and I don't call everybody that doesn't show up an excuse, but it's sometimes it is just an excuse to be like, you really didn't support, and I understand. Like this isn't the thing that is for you. What I'm doing is not for you, and it's cool. But you can't. What I'm learning is those that want to reap the benefits of that work. That's the piece. That's the struggle, right? Where it's like you didn't want to be with me in the gym. The door was open. I was looking for that fifth player, but now that we at the championship, like, yo, I'm showing up now. And it's like, well, what about the people that was with me in the gym? The people that, don't necessarily have that sandbox relationship, but they showed up because they supported the vision when it was available. So that's breaking those relationship ties in a way where it's like, how do you do it in a healthy way? Right? Like where it's like, I really got love for you. We go back to the sandbox, but I see you. I feel like you're kind of taking advantage of my journey, my direction, and not contributing to it either, just taking, right? And so
I want to, Darrin, can you speak to this and what Props and Belinda are talking about? And I know a lot of times Props doesn't always speak necessarily for himself, but just the sentiments a lot of people that he knows and deals with, and what he perceives as sentiments of folks that just won't say it or comment or whatever. So Props said, there are people around, I feel I can't handle my truth, so it mutes portions of my life. And then Donald said, when we stop hiding the struggle, we are setting others free too. The door is open for others to get out of their prison, whatever it is. And then Belinda comes and says, to Props, no, apply what you learned, bro. Never mute. Live your fullest true self unapologetically. You learned, and everything was preparation for now. Thoughts?
You're right. Everybody's not going to be able to handle your truth. Those are the people that don't need to hear your truth, then, right? You want those that will have a receptive ear, right? If someone's just gonna constantly put down your truth, like you can't argue a fact. A fact is a fact. You can have an opinion about that fact, but you can't argue, right? Like, it is what it is. So if it's your truth and someone wants to challenge your truth, just like, unfortunately, and I'm not going to go too deep into the COVID, it's like people have their lived experience, right? You can't take my truth from me because it's my lived experience, right? Like, so I'm basing my truth on my understanding of what I went through. Now, whether or not you can understand because of your own journey, that's neither here nor there, right? It's and being able to say, how do I remove the person that doesn't have a receptive ear, who doesn't want to see things from another point of view? That person becomes toxic, where it's like, you know what, just do it your way. I've been told recently where someone said, Darrin, you have a cold way of doing things. I'm like, it's not cold when it's saying I'm comfortable with people doing it their way. You can't come ask someone for their help, their support, right? And then when they give you their opinion and suggestion, they turn around and they're like, well, I'm going to do it this way. Where it's like, well, you didn't need to waste my time. Just continue doing it your way, right? Like I'm glad I was able to be helpful, but you can't get time back, right? So I would just say that to Props, don't ever stop speaking your truth to make someone else feel comfortable in their lie, right? Like, that's because it's your truth, right? And they're trying to rearrange it. So that's what I would say about that. Like, as long as you own it, there is only people that's going to be like, nah, that couldn't have happened. That's why I enjoy my narration, where I'm like, I did do this, right? I did. Like, don't tell me what I didn't do when I've already done it, right? Like, it's like,
how you said, wait a minute, hold on. I'm going to choke him. Yes, Mr. Props.
Nah, I think the story got a little twisted in the reading in the text or whatever.
Okay, all right.
I would hear my voice.
Yeah. Can y'all hear him?
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on, Danny. Hold on. Let's do this and do this right. I'm gonna choke you later. Hold on. Let me. The other phone is off. Hold on, Darrin. Just fill in for me a little bit while I get Props on the phone. Jesus.
Well, clearly, this conversation is definitely motivating for me, as I'm even reflecting, as I'm sharing, right? Like, that's why we call this Freestyle Friday, right? Like, it's just our thoughts, so it's just coming out raw, right? But again, like, not being apologetic for your journey, your narration, right? And there's going to be ups and downs, right? I call it the Eminem effect, especially in the political space, where it's like, if you give everything about you that you think someone will criticize, critique, have some type of negative opinion, then you ain't got to worry about their opinion if you've already, beat them to the punch, per se, right? Gotcha. Of sharing that information. So,
Props.
You
there? Okay, we got you. Can you hear him, Darrin?
Yep.
Okay. So Props, and that's why I kind of said what I said, because I know text was one thing, and so I got you, bro. I know you, but go ahead and
I'm not taking anything away from Darrin. Darrin is speaking.
Oh no, yeah.
110% the truth. I'm agreeing with him.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? My side, it's a little different, where the things that I glorified were let's be real, we were born in hip hop. I glorified jewelry, the big rims, and all of that. Not to mention, I was hanging around a specific group of people that had it like that. You know what I'm saying? So, right now, being around the successful people that I'm around, and we're having our conversation, and they're talking about how they started and how they got it, I can't be like, yo, I lost my pops in '96 because he was moving, you know what I'm saying?
Wait. I see what you mean. Yep.
So it's like, there's certain parts where I mute myself. Now, I can give y'all the truth, because at the end of the day, like, y'all feel me. This is family. Like, I'm sure y'all got some family members in the same situation I was in. So like, it's a different community. You know what I mean? But like, if I would be as abrasive to my truth in the beginning of my career or what have you, I think I would have been shunned in a lot of places. Like Foot Locker and other entities wouldn't have allowed me to be in there because they would have looked at me as a thug or, yo, he's liable to have that kind of element inside our office.
Listen, I Props, one, thank you for calling in too, because I looked at the phone and, you know, the first thing I thought, because Props has a habit of calling me at 8:57 every morning. I don't understand why. But
because you got a 10-minute intro, you got time.
You hear what he said, Props?
So like, it's not, yo, D, I love your message. So it's not like I'm in a foul space or whatever. Nah, it's just I pick and choose who I want to give my truth to.
And that's what Darrin said. Yep. Go ahead.
And that being said, because I gotta hide my truth around a certain amount of people, like those aren't the people that I find myself comfortable with. You know what I'm saying? Like I might just have to deal with them in one perspective or one angle of my life. But like for the most part, everybody that you see me kicking it with in pictures or whatever, they know everything. And that's just who I feel comfortable with. Right now, I'm in a time and a space where I am giving back, where I've hit my level of success. You know what I'm saying? And everybody has a different definition of success, but I'm where D's at. He said it's peace. You know what I'm saying? I'm calling it happiness because I can't ask for anything more. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Props. Yo, y'all going to be able to hear more. Darrin, I don't know if you want to respond before this.
Yeah. Go ahead. I definitely can understand what you're saying by, you know, you got to be conscious of the audience too, right? Like, and who you are sharing whatever information about self. But never running from that identity, right? Like if it comes, it comes, right? Right. So I think that was the piece for me where it was like not being ashamed of knowing it, but being conscious of what audiences I'm in, right? Like where it was, I had to be a little discreet in the beginning, but everyone already knew I had a Corey. You didn't know the charges, you didn't know the history, you didn't ask that information, and I wasn't volunteering it either. But it was like when it started to make sense to share, right? If I'm in spaces talking about anti-violence initiatives or I'm in those type of things, and I'm like, nah, your approach ain't gonna make sense, and this is why, right? I'm gonna provide you with the perspective of you got a Harvard study and I was on Harvard. There's a big difference when you're talking about kids on Harvard, right? Like, so it was that type of like where it had to come out, and to the point now where I'm like, in the space that I'm in, I don't have to hold back, right? And if I'm in the public figure type space, it's hopefully saying like, oh wow, D done talked about carrying guns or being in these situations or selling drugs or being in jail, right?
Background, you can't pay for street smarts, and because of which, like the street smarts that were installed in us got us communicating in the same spaces that these people from Harvard are they're having a hard time. You know what I'm saying? Like
they can't connect. I don't know what's going on. It's like because you can't relate. Nobody knows you. You wasn't on the block. That's why you can't connect, right? Like so, it's like.
And it sounds funny. It sounds funny when you say lit. So stop. You know what I'm saying?
And that's as real as it is. It's like, how do you get into that space to then influence those that do have the resources, that do have the opportunities to be like, yo, if you would approach it this way, a lot more people from my side of the fence would be able to, you know, be those productive, contributing members of society. But until they get those opportunities, because you're approaching it this way and it don't make sense, it ain't going to attract the population. The things that you just described about those materialistic things. That's why I threw that out there where I was like, I didn't want to share it. I've been keeping it to myself because I'm like, wow, is people going to think I'm back trapping? Is like, no, that's not how this world works now, right? Like you got to have your paperwork right. And that's the piece that I had to learn about where it's like, oh, your credit got to be right. Your income got to be right. You got to have a history of this. You got to do that. Like you can't just magically have it because you got a shoebox money. Like that's not how the larger society works.
We've seen it done, but as quick as it comes is as quick as it goes. Yep. We've also seen, you know what I'm saying, that. So again, like I think when giving the message to the people we're giving the message to, it's all transparent. There's certain things that don't have to be said. And as you said, there are people watching. You know what I'm saying? And they're praising you for whatever materialistic, you know what I'm saying, that you have, just as there are kids out there praising me for whatever materials they think that I've made. You know what I'm saying? Because my image to them is one of a success. And because of that, I'm able to gain their trust, you know what I'm saying, and show them that, yo, all of this is easy to obtain if just follow through. So I agree with you 100%, brother.
Appreciate you.
Listen, y'all, Props will be with us 2 weeks from today. He's coming in on 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's going to be freestyle with Props. And so as he calls it, Red Bull.
Now,
with
we
Props.
We need Darrin too, yo.
All right, so Darrin, if you're free,
if I'm free, I'm here. Like I enjoy this space. I've always told James, like, you know, I like the back and forth. Like when I can go back and forth, we can go all day long. Because there's a wealth of information that I feel I've been privileged to obtain, that I just want to give it back, to be like, yo, there's so much opportunity, but you got to be focused, right? There is going to be obstacles and challenges. History is going to matter if you're trying to get over certain issues, but you can do it, right? Like the question is, like, when is it going to happen? Who knows? As long as you're moving forward. I wake up every day just saying I need to be a little bit more productive than I was the day before, right? Like I don't have no large aspirations like, oh, I need to make $1 million today. No, that's not a piece of mine. I need to be able to say I can go and come and do what I want when I want to do it without feeling the restrictions of society, right? And that's on all levels, whether it's hood politics or larger society politics. I'm not feeling the restrictions anymore. And that's what I'm enjoying. It's like, all right, well, let me just go. No, I'm not going to say it, James. You're not going to get
that. Listen, we got Darrin. I think we're going to do one or two things. Props, yo, bro. You already know. Love, appreciate you, man. This brother Props. Cool Matata, and we'll hear your Kirk Franklin song in 2 weeks. But Props, I appreciate you, bro. And you know, as we do, I'll check in with you after the show, man.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. I'm looking forward to hearing from you in like 2 weeks.
Gotcha.
These two, y'all need the Props before you go. Let me just tell you how Freestyle Friday became consistent. Darrin came on for one Friday, and at the end of the show, he was like, we're going to ask the audience in the comments, do y'all want me back next Friday? And this is how we came to Freestyle Fridays. And so Props.
Right, so let's ask the audience. Do they want us back?
Oh, this is definite. Asia requested him today. So 2 weeks from today, we're going to have Darrin and oh Jesus, Lord have mercy. I just might go off the screen and just let y'all go at it.
No, but you know what? Honestly, like it's missing. Like we didn't even touch on politics, and I'm happy we didn't, right? Like because that's a whole nother issue, right? Like I can give a quick blurb on it, and I'm like, for what? Like I prefer this. I like the freestyle. I like where it just goes where it needs to go, right? Like, and that's what I think is missing in our community. Like I enjoy your platform because it is community centered, right? Like, so to be able to say, nah, people come on here, whether they are politicians, whether they're, doctors or whatever professions they're in. And then you get this too, right? You get the, you know what, it is what it is type of conversation, right? Like, and I think that it's missing because there is no Touch 106.1. There is no WILD. There is like, you do have the Spark FMs, but you do have those type of, where is this at? Right here. Like, I don't see it enough to be able to say, I don't know who's leading. Just because you got a title don't make you a leader, right? Like, it's like, where's the people that's following you? And so when it comes to the people that, people are aspiring to represent, well, do the people really know that you got them like that? Because hood politics says differently.
So on that note, Props, good to have you on the show, brother. And Props, I'm getting you off of this phone, and we'll talk to you after the show.
Yo, see, wow.
Props, I love you. I did real good. I didn't call you by your government.
I was gonna agree with Darrin, and basically wrap it up on some. I could tap into the politics here. You know what I'm saying? This is a no judge zone. All of us, you know what I'm saying, are from different walks of life, but it seems like we're on the same path now. We all have questions, and I could find answers by tapping into Java with Jimmy. And I know it's consistent. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's not like I'll tap in on Monday and then next Monday he's not on. You know what I'm saying? So like, I really like this platform. This is dope.
I appreciate you, brother, and I'm so glad you. Props, I appreciate you. I almost called you government. I'm getting you off this phone. I will hit you in about 10, 15 minutes. I'm lying about a half an hour. All right.
Everybody's loving that one, huh? Hood politics say something different. Well, that's coming from the president of the hood. And if anyone wants to politics, anyone want to challenge the title, you know, we can have a debate any day.
Hold on, Darren. Let's do a thumbnail real quick, so we can go back and listen.
Well, we from Boston. I'm gonna throw threes up. You know, I'll just make it.
No, but I thank you, Darren, because you affirmed something. Because I was getting ready to try to do a quick overview of the politics, and I'll be honest with you, and I want to get your thoughts on this. And we'll end with this. I was talking to Cindy Diggs yesterday, and for those like me, you, her, and others that have been in this for over, I count my time as a peer educator, and so for over 20 years. That comfortability with saying right now, I really wish I could, I can't. And there was a thing here, and I lost my train of thought that quick. Oh, when you talked about, well, there's this sentiment, I'll end with this, about not putting a whole lot of energy in the Black History Month. You know, we've paid our dues, we've done things. Can you talk a little bit to rest? And you did earlier, you said you made a great contribution to sleep and growing up. So can you let's end with the importance of rest and Black joy.
Rest is important, right? You got to have the energy to be able to give back, right? Like, so I'm never going to say that self-care people shouldn't be conscious of taking it, because in this work, it's a selfless form of giving, right? Like you're giving of self in order to help others. I think that the problem I see, it's like, again, resting for what? Like, I think it becomes the tangible things of the work, right? Like when there's things that of the past I remember, right? Like I think about Chuck, you know, and people used to say, he stopped I-95 from coming through here. Like that's just something major, right? Like where it's like, you can point to the work, right? Like now it just seems like you could point to the legislation, right? Like, and I'm going to say you can point to it because it's filed. Yep. Doesn't mean it necessarily got over the finish line.
That's a whole nother. Don't go there because we'll dip right.
Yeah. So when you say rest, it's like, yes, you do need self-care, but from what? Right? Like if the work is saying that these are the things that are the tangibles, right? Like I if anyone knows me, they know I hate writing. Right. So I'm not a person you're gonna see a bunch of things written about, right? Like you're gonna see some things that you can point to, right? That signifies work, right? Like I would do this where work is like the minimum wage increased over the last few years, right? Well, that work started somewhere.
Where did it start, Darren?
Huh?
Where did the work start?
Oh man, we talk about Occupy. We talking about, you know, Fight for 15.
Who was involved with that, Darren?
You know, I was in the room.
I'm messing, man. I'm messing. You got to give a little black.
I got to tell everybody though, real quick.
Go ahead.
I love this space. I love this audience. This is again. I'm gonna keep pushing James, and my way of pushing James is being like, these are things that's needed, right? Like you maintain. You created a space. You've been consistent with a space. I will give my own personal critique. You need more of this. You need that more raw. That like to be able to say the politics and the dignitaries are great coming on, giving updates. But when you get that raw that goes with it, that balances it out. I mean, because it's missing in our community, and you have a space that can provide it. So I'm gonna just, you know, say that there's too many people. I see the good brother Donald on here. There's some good folks that can continue to keep this balance that I feel like they say I bring when I come on the show, right? Like it's just like, hey, let's just. What's somebody gonna say to me?
Here we go. No, sir.
like the work is the thing, right? And it's like people have a different understanding of the work, right? Like, and the work is the work. We know what work is going on.
Hold on, and I'm agreeing with everything you're saying. We'll figure this out weekly. But did you see that Donald put your whole government?
I'm cool with that. Right? Like, trust me.
Hold on, because that'll preach real quick. Darrin,
trust me. I tell people ahead of time, D never made it to a check, but Darrin, Dwayne, Howell, been on plenty of them. So that's that work, you know.
Sure. Listen, this is the last thing that we'll end with. And Darrin, you can tell folks, what we're getting ready to do, what we used to do every Friday. And I need to go back. Hopefully my friend and sister is still here. If not, for y'all, somebody go that all of y'all got all y'all little side relationships and friendships. Somebody please text Sharon and make sure that she's in the room, because we're going to get ready to have our moment of silence. And Darrin, you can go ahead and give the context to that from how it started.
Yep. So definitely appreciate still moving in this space. We still, it's a challenge to socially gather, right? And we have lost so many lives for a variety of reasons, where we haven't been able to really congregate the way that we have in pre-COVID. So Sharon, this moment of silence is not only for the passing of your husband, but for all those that have passed, unfortunately, before their time. So with that, take this moment. Thank you so much again, James, for providing this space. Thank you to the Java Cafe family for tuning in. This won't be the first nor the last time you see the kid. You see, I just dropped a little bug in James's ear. So, again, he said,
this is how it started. This is how it started, Jesus.
We're going to push something. It's a whole new year. Let's just see what happens at the end of the year. You know me, I love to see the end results, not just the beginning, but the end. So
I'm not messing with you, or Jesus, you and this is y'all got 14 days. 1 and 4 equal 5, and 5 is the number of grace. Y'all better please pray for me for 2 weeks from today, because I'm telling you, there's going to be points I'm just going to go off screen and they can have the show. Freestyle Friday. Red Bull with props, and what's Darren's favorite drink? Red Bull with props and Corona. No, we got to find a and Corona. Every time D's here, I make sure I got a Corona, or what's the other one? La Pacifica. On deck, bro. I really appreciate you. Props. Thank you for calling in, man. I already got a couple of texts that we're going to have to do this more often on the raw piece, and I appreciate the challenge of getting back, because if you remember, it was usually just me and somebody else and just talking opinion, and so I want to stay true to the essence of what Java with Jimmy is, with all the information sharing. So with that, I'll let you go, bro, because I need to share some announcements, and I won't bore you with another 10 minutes of an outro. I appreciate you, DH. We'll be in contact. I'm sure you and I are going to debrief after this. So
all right, let's talk about it.
Listen, everybody, this was one of the best Freestyle Fridays, one of the best episodes of Java with Jimmy. I was very intentional because I knew Darrin just had a perspective, and his life experience and insight would really inform the flow of today. And then we had the pleasure of Props calling in. And I'm glad you all got to hear him, because you see, I'm moving the mouse like y'all can see this. All right, let me get this right. I'm getting there, y'all. You see his work. If Katie's watching, Katie, see my bent finger? That's an inside joke. You see his work and the influence of the aesthetics, of the improvement, rather, of the aesthetics here with Java with Jimmy. And so it's a selfless service. I have to fight him often to send me an invoice. And so I appreciate this dude so much, him and both Darrin and everybody and all of you that are constantly in the Java Cafe. Before we go, we just want to remind you that next week, y'all, this week was definitely a full week, and I need to just get this graphic ready. Hopefully I got everything right. But it's been a full week. And so we started off Monday with Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley. On Tuesday, we had Dr. Joe Betancourt. I will just say with y'all, I got a text last night, and the pilot of Your Healthy Java, not going to be a pilot. It's going to be something that the hospital wants to support bigger and better. And we're working with them to really help them work towards equity in all spaces. And so I got a text last night that your healthy job is going to be good. And so Tuesday we had Dr. Betancourt. Wednesday we had gubernatorial candidate Sonia Chang Diaz. A little Polly Maura Healy is coming to Java with Jimmy. I heard from her press team yesterday, and they're going to get back in touch with me with a date. There's another candidate that I think I just got confirmation on, who confirmed that's coming on next week. So let me just make sure that this is the confirmation. Got it. Thank you so much. Please let us know. So we got the confirmation for that. So I'm about to make an announcement. And so Wednesday we had Sonia Chang Diaz. Thursday we had State Representative Liz Miranda. And today we had the wonderful president of the hood, Darrin Howell, and also digital producer for Java with Jimmy, Props. I'm going to give him a new name, Props McDaniels, or Props McFly, as he is on Facebook. Next week, Dr. Brandy is coming back into the room. We're going to take a whole different approach to Mental Health Mondays. You're going to have homework. We have some topics lined up for you about dealing with your best self on an individual level, dealing with your best self when dealing with other people. Then on Tuesday, former Chief of Innovation and Strategy that was with the District Attorney, Rachel Rollins, who is no longer in the DA's office. He will be with us on Tuesday. And just let you all know, I've reached out to Kevin Hayden's office twice. They said they would get the invite before him. I told them yesterday that I didn't hear anything back, and I would be letting the public know where the invitation stands. And so I will let you all know what the exact response was. And his office exact response was, hold on, I gotta clean out my inbox. Where is it? Thanks for following up. D.A. Hayden is aware of your request, and we're working with his scheduler to find an opportunity for him to come on the show. We'll be in touch with you to identify a date and time that will work very soon. Thank you again for the invite to be on the show. We're looking forward to the interview once we're able to get it on D.A. Hayden's calendar. And so that's where the invitation to D.A. Hayden is. And so Bobby is coming on Tuesday. On Wednesday, as you know, one of the races that's going on this year is for the Suffolk Sheriff, and Steve Tompkins, the incumbent, will be with us. And on Thursday, the LGBTQI plus liaison for the city of Boston in the person of Quincy Roberts will be with us. We're going to talk about his Beyond Pride campaign. And here's the announcement. On Friday, my friend and sister, Attorney Tanisha M. Sullivan, candidate for Secretary of State, will be with us on next Friday. And then the Friday after that, we'll be back with Freestyle Fridays with Darrin and Props, Lord Jesus. All right, I'm going to get ready to go, everybody. Check the last round of comments, and we are getting out of here. Thank you so much, Belinda, for the support. Have a full week. Your love and dedication is awesome. All right, I ain't messing with y'all. Sharon Cornelius, what you call it? Oh, yes, the truck last night. Sharon, were you in for the dedication? Sharon, text me, because you know me and the phone don't do good. But no, go ahead. That's cool. So you were good to see. You were able to see the moment of silence. There it goes. All right, I can get off now. You all have a wonderful day. My sister's up here messing. So wait, does eating something count during a moment of Misha?
Cindy Diggs.
Hold on, she's gonna kill me, but Cindy, hold on for 1 second. I'm about to tell you something. Hold on. Cindy, you're on Java with Jimmy Live. How are you? Say hi to the people.
Hi, people.
Obviously, you probably didn't know I was going to answer the phone. Danny called, and I had to patch him in with Darrin. Danny and Darrin. Just imagine. Describe Danny and Darrin with me on Java with Jimmy on a Friday in one word.
Can I swear?
A little bit. It's Freestyle Fridays. Go ahead.
It's a F show.
Oh, no. Oh, my. And I know what you mean by that. It was crazy. Were you calling to make an announcement, or were you calling me?
No, I was calling you, but hi, guys.
Well, it's funny because I just mentioned, we were talking last night, and Dr. Betancourt had sent me a text. about the continued support that the pilot's going to move into, being more longevity. And so some of you may or may not know, and we'll have her back. She hasn't been on since October, but Cindy was very instrumental for the past couple of years in facilitating the relationship and partnership between Your Healthy Java, Java with Jimmy, and Massachusetts General Hospital. So I think it's most apropos that you called, because I just told her.
Awesome.
And we had the truck with the flyer going around last night.
That was amazing. That was amazing.
So
I'm so happy with what's happening, and I'm glad that I called at this time. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. I thought I was catching you after the show.
No, props and Darrin just got off. And then here's Sharon. All of you all that are members, and Cindy's helping y'all get there. All of you that are members of UCB and you get your credit points. UCB has embraced Java with Jimmy for you to get your community event participation. So shout out to Eric Leslie at UCB. So you get an hour and a half worth of community points today.
Oh, wow.
She just posted it. So Cindy, I got to call Darrin, props, and then I'll call you back after that, after I eat and decompress.
Okay. Sounds good.
Love you.
Have a good Friday, everybody. Love you too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See, that's what Props and Darrin said. You just never know what you get up in the Java Cafe. I'm getting off of here. I made all the announcements. Today was dope. Today was dope. We had guests all week. Darrin's not a guest. And so when I get this few minutes just to banter and chat with you all, I appreciate it, even though there's only 10 of you all left in here. Thank you for the 10. Y'all need something from the store? I'm getting off of here, everyone. Have a wonderful day. We will see you on Monday at 9 a.m. with Dr. Brandy Brooks as we relaunch Mental Health Mondays. Y'all going to get some homework. All right. Talk to y'all soon. Have a wonderful, safe weekend, everybody. Peace.